Hi, I'm Mark Hayhurst from Winter Insight. Today I'm talking to Robert Ramsay from Hidden Mountain Ski. Hi, Robert.
Hi, Mark.
I mean, you run Hidden Mountain Ski. It's kind of a travel agency with a difference.
Yes, Mark. It's very niche, I suppose. We're looking at the ski holiday in a slightly different way. Rather than taking people to the mega resorts, we're looking at the smaller, more interesting, more culturally diverse resorts that the locals tend to go to try and keep away from the hoarding Brits who turn up to the large resorts every week.
Yeah, so it's a kind of off the beaten slopes, as it were. You're kind of getting away from the mass crowds, and it's skiing like local people who would just go out in the afternoon for a ski when they finish work or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we do more than an afternoon, a full week, or whatever you like. But the opportunity to travel around, to see different resorts, and ski resorts where the English voice isn't the dominant voice, and where the food is reflecting of the area. And what's fascinating about it is generally they're nowhere near as skied out, and they're great value for money and excellent places to ski.
I mean, you look at a kind of clusters, you call them, a cluster of places to ski. Can you explain that? Yes.
So some of the ski resorts we go to are easily enough to keep somebody occupied for a week. But generally, quite a lot of the reason why the big tour operators go to what I would call the mega resorts is because they've got everything in one place and it's really easy for them to organize everybody. Whereas that's not necessarily where the best skiing is.
Yeah.
So sometimes the best skiing, you have to sacrifice something if you want to ski a different area time and time again. You might have to do a little bit of traveling. Some of the resorts are big enough that you can ski them for a week, particularly if you're taking a bit of off-piste. But some of them, there are 3 or 4 resorts on the same lift pass, matter of 10, 20 minutes apart from each other, jumping on a local bus. And so therefore you can ski a cluster. And in fact, we try and shape each cluster that we look at that everything that we mention is within an hour of a central point, mostly within half an hour. And you could go for a week's holiday and easily ski a different resort every single day.
Well, I suppose that's the difference. It's not like you wake up, you get out your chalet and you just ski to the same place every day. You've got that option of maybe I fancy somewhere different, say, or not even just for the skiing, but also somewhere different to eat and see different faces.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 2 advantages, one is that you see that variety. But the other one is how frequently the conditions are better in a different resort. So you could be on a wonderful south-facing resort, but you've had a couple of really sunny days and there's no fresh snow. It's great to just move across to more of a north-facing resort that's going to have that better quality of snow. And so you've got that option. On the whole, we tend to put people onto slopes onto places they will be able to have a full week skiing on those, won't have to travel. But the traveling, as you say, is an option to add that extra element.
So, I mean, also, I suppose it's also helping out the smaller local businesses as well they're operating. So you don't get the kind of, I won't say conglomerates and the same like Starbucks and stuff there, but you get to see the real country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose a lot of ski is about luxury. A lot of brands are trying to create the most luxury they can. I think what we want to do is create the most real skiing experience you can possibly have. So if we can get people really feeling that they're in Switzerland or in German Switzerland or in Italy, and that they're eating that kind of food and hearing that kind of language and seeing that kind of behavior. But particularly, I think we forget what rural places some of these valleys are, and really how difficult it's been for these places to survive. And there's in the process, I've actually, looked up some actual facts about this, and really a lot of places, the farms that don't have hotel rooms near them just become abandoned. And then the ski resorts become abandoned. Yeah. And this has happened, right throughout the world, in America and all over the place. And it's just such a great shame, particularly where we've got climate change and we've got risk to snow, and we're getting pushed into smaller and smaller areas as the snow's not at the bottom of the hills. then why not spread out and take up some space in some of these smaller resorts and help feed these more local, more real businesses?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you know about local businesses as you run your own local business in this country as well. I mean, does that kind of feed into it, that feeling of, you know, what it's like to run a kind of business like that?
Absolutely. So I suppose it's one of those things that existed in the back of my mind rather than the front of my mind as I was developing this. But we are rural Angus in Scotland, and we sleep an awful lot of people in our tourism offering here, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And we bring in an awful lot of Americans on big tours where they want to experience a really Scottish experience. And their natural reaction is not to think what we do, you know, where are we going to go? We're going to go to Scotland. We need to go to Angus.
Yeah.
Their natural reaction is to fly into an Edinburgh or Glasgow, or even to fly into London and get a couple of days in Scotland. So we face exactly the challenge that I think our suppliers of chalets and restaurants and etc. face, is how do you get people to come to a place that's not a big name? And I know from what we can deliver them here in Angus, I know we can deliver them a really great experience. They come back for more, they tell their friends, they give us 5-star reviews. And I think the same will be true of people who get out of a mega resort, go to a smaller resort, find that it's not skied out, find that they're not standing in lift queues, and find that they are actually communicating with the local population who have got roots buried into that ground in that area.
But I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's the kind of, you get that local element. You're not just going somewhere. It's like you go to Spain. You might as well be in Britain, but it's, you know, you've got the same menus as you have back home. You have pint pot pots, and you know you want something different. You know, it might be sunny. You might have snow to ski on, but you don't get that authentic experience.
I mean, if I liken it to going to Spain, I'm one of these guys. Don't get me wrong. I'll love to go to a big Spanish beach resort with all of the everything that goes with it. But I'm also one of those guys that will get in a car and find a sweet little cove around the corner. Yeah. And there I'll find, you know, some brilliant local tapas or whatever it is. And that to me is part of the experience. And that we're trying to offer that in the skiing experience, to find that little hidden cove, that little hidden gem that you can really make part of your own life, you know. Yeah.
And sort of become a local for a week.
Yeah. At least feel like you are.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I hope you have a great success with it, and I wish you good luck. And